Good morning from Huntingdon, England. So where is Huntingdon? Huntingdon is a small English town about 30 to 40 minutes west of Cambridge, which is of course popular for its universities and its world famous Cambridge scholars. So prior to the pandemic, I used to come to Huntingdon once a month. So this was 2020 was the last time I was actually here, and that was before I started making YouTube videos, which I started making in Kiev during the pandemic. Everything was locked down, I got bored. So this is the first time I've been back since March 2020, and so I brought my camera and thought I'd do a quick video. I'll show you real quick. I stayed at this little hotel here last night called the George Hotel. It's a really great little small owned mom and pop hotel. If you ever find yourself in Huntingdon, I would definitely recommend it, as it's right off the main square behind me. What you see the backside here is the All Saints Church. I'm gonna walk around to the front here a little bit. So, what do I know about Huntingdon? Not a lot. I know that it was chartered by King John in the year 1205, and former member of Parliament Oliver Cromwell was born here in 1599 and later served as a member of Parliament in the 17th century. Here on the main square there is a Oliver Cromwell museum. That's about all I know about Huntingdon. So turn around here and we'll see the front of the church. Here is the main square of Huntingdon. And I'm not sure who this is right here. So this is a memorial to the top is World War I, the bottom World War II. As I drive out through the country later, I'll stop and show you some places by some churches where it actually has some of the old veterans' graves, and they mark them. Pretty cool how they mark them here in the cemeteries. So we'll look at that a little bit later. So this is the All Saints Church, and unfortunately, wouldn't you know, it's only open on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Today's Thursday, so I don't think I'll be able to go in, and I've never actually been inside here. So those of you that watch my videos know how much I like to go in churches. This would be a Catholic church, so I'd really like to see inside. Well, you know, if it's Catholic, aren't the doors supposed to always be open or something like that? Help me out here. Okay, lady just let me in the church real quick to pop my head in. They're setting up for a children's group. So inside the church is kind of bare. She said they are working on updating the history of the church online. So unfortunately, I don't know a whole lot about this church besides it is Catholic. It looks pretty old. I was really hoping they had a historical marker or something outside, but maybe I'll have to find out a little bit more about that later. But I've been coming here since 2016. That's the first time I actually got to go inside the church, so there's a win. Back out on the main square. So I did check into the hotel last night, and I came down here and walked around a little bit. Found myself in here, the Falcon. This is a pretty cool little old-style British pub. It's a regular British pub. They have, you know, the Carlsberg and all the regular beers, and then they have the cask ales. So if you've never been in the UK, they have these ales on these wooden casks, and they're not carbonated, so they have to pump them. And usually they're, you know, less alcohol, 3.6% to 4.2, 4.5%, but they're pretty good. So they have a lot of cask ales. They have the regular Carling and you know, those type of beers. They also have a beer in here called Motorhead, after the you know, the heavy metal band with Lemmy, the lead singer, who passed away last year, 2 years ago. So I went in to get a Motorhead last night so I could get photos, and wouldn't you know, the keg was out. Just my luck. This actually talks a little bit about. So chartered as a borough in 1205, I mentioned that, birthplace of Oliver Cromwell, and the town hall here was built in 1745. So I've got a couple of meetings I have to get to for work, so I can't spend a whole lot of time down here today. But I just kind of wanted to show you a little bit of a smaller English town, because a lot of people, you come to London, you see the big city life, you don't get to see the smaller towns. So I just want to show you a little bit of the architecture through the day. Driving out through the country, I've got an automatic, so hopefully I can hold my camera. I wanted to show you one other thing here. So I came here last night. This was one of my favorite pubs here too, the Market Inn, and they have had a beer on tap, the Iron Maiden, the Trooper beer. I was in there 2 years ago, and one of my buddies was with me, and he asked the owner, he's like, "Why do you have this as your beer on tap?" And the guy says, "Because that's what I like." Hard to argue with. So I was in the Falcon last night, and I asked about this pub, and they said basically the pandemic killed it, and unfortunately it just closed 10 days ago. I was supposed to come up here in December and January, but then because of the different quarantine restrictions and things, I had to cancel my trips. So if I could have made either one of those, I could have at least had one last pint in there of Trooper. But unfortunately, another Another local favorite spot that gave way to the pandemic. I forgot to mention, in case you're noticing something different, yes, I did shave. It was getting itchy even though I was using beard oil because the air is so cold and dry in Kiev. It was driving me crazy. And then I didn't realize how much damn gray was in it also. Going back and watching some of my old videos, so I did shave my beard off. This used to be another little cool pub here, and it's closed. It's gone too. So unfortunately, that's kind of the story all across, well, everywhere in the world. You know, a lot of these small businesses and stuff are folding because of the pandemic. One of the things I wanted to tell you about was SIM cards. So my Ukrainian SIM card won't work here as it's not part of the EU. I know UK is not part of the EU anymore, but as far as roaming, cell phone roaming, they still follow the EU rules, so there's free roaming anywhere. So I did not get a SIM card at the airport because they're pretty expensive. I just went to some little mom and pop shop, like convenience store. I bought a network. It's called 3, which is one of the biggest networks with the biggest coverage here. The card itself cost me 50 cents, 50 pence. Put it in my phone. I bought a data package for 10 pounds. So that's 10 gigabytes for 10 pounds and free unlimited calling, free unlimited text messaging for a month. So if you can get away from getting a SIM card at the actual airport, data plans are really pretty cheap here. And like I said, you can use it anywhere in the UK, and that can also roam anywhere within the EU if you're traveling. About my SIM card, this is the network I got here, 3. Just so you know what it looks like. A Vodafone and some other different cards. I will tell you the one thing I had a problem with when I bought the SIM card, put it in, downloaded the app, and then when I went to use my credit card to buy something, it wanted a British postcode. So I had to go in there and put it asked if I was in the British military, so I went in there and made up an address, and it accepted it. But then when I tried to use my code, still tried to go in and use the app, it still wanted my postcode. So then I had the option of dialing 444, and basically it's like a self-service thing. I went on, I was able to use my card to purchase $10, and then put 10 pounds on my card. And then after I was able to put 10 pounds on my card, my SIM card, then I was able to use that to buy the 10-pound data plan. So it was a little bit of a learning process, but basically you can call in and do it. I just couldn't use the actual app. So that may be something you want to ask about depending on which SIM card you're looking at getting. So now I'm going to go in here to TK Maxx. So in the States, TJ Maxx, this is a European brand, and so everything you can get in the States, you can get it's the same exact store, owned by the same company. So TJ Maxx, Marshall's, Home Goods, and TK Maxx are all the same company. So a lot of the things that I used to get there back in the States, I cannot get in Ukraine, but I can get them here. So I have a half-empty suitcase that I am getting ready to go load up. So I was just in TK Maxx, and something I noticed that it didn't really click before is a lot of the stores here are mask friendly. That means it's optional. Like, they kind of suggest you wear one, but you don't have to wear one. So signs are starting to lift restrictions. And I did read online before I came that on 11 February they're supposed to lift even more restrictions all across the UK. So signs that trying to get back to normal life. And in the main square here, I do like some of the older brick and stone buildings, the old English architecture here. Even the hotel I was staying in here, King George, see the top of it looks pretty old as well. Okay, finally made it in the car. Hopefully I don't wreck. I am not used to driving on the left side of the road. I haven't driven on the left side of the road in over 2 years. Luckily they gave me an automatic, so I don't have to shift. And so this is fun, doing a roundabout backwards. Kind of some of the things I wanted to show you just driving around here, some of the little English country houses. And when we get further out, you'll see like the old English cottages with the thatch roofs and things still.
In 1/4 mile, turn right on High Street, then take the 3rd right.
And it's been a little while since I did this drive, but I remember there's a little, like, almost cobblestone bridge I have to go over.
Turn right on High Street, then take the 3rd right.
In fact, it might be pretty close to here right after I make this right. Should be up here on the left. Yep. Oh, so good Lord, I can't see anything. So much from my memory, it is not cobblestone. Well, yeah, I guess the base of it is. So I do miss the drives out through the English countryside. Going through a little village here called Old Weston. So as I was driving out through the country roads, I saw a pheasant. They're all over the place, but I only saw the one, and I was right up on top of it before I even saw it. So hopefully, maybe on the way back, we can see one. I also should film when you have to pass a car on these backcountry roads, because there's barely enough room for two cars to fit side by side on the road, and then I'm not used to driving on the left anyway, so my pucker factor is at about a 10 whenever I have to do that, so maybe I'll try to film that on the way back. Pretty cool church back there too. I've stopped in there one other time before. If I have time on the way back, I'll stop over there. That's one of the places they have some of the soldiers' graves marked from World War I and World War II as well. So hopefully I'll have time to stop by there. If not today, probably sometime this weekend at least. I finished with my meetings for today, so I was able to stop back by this church that I pointed on the way here. This is the parish church of St. Swithin. And as you can see here, it has says that there are some of the Commonwealth war graves here. So it's been a while since I've been to this church and cemetery. So I'll have to look around and see if I can find some of those graves. Actually, it's locked. Maybe we can see inside here. Maybe not. How old some of these graves are in the back here. $1893. Let's see. So this one person died in 1905 at age of 71 years old. There's another one. So died 19 November 1932 at the age of 73 years. So these are written a little different than they are in the US, because it has the date they were born and the date they died. Here it has the date they died and how old they were. Really see in here. So this is the inside, but the pews are all covered in plastic, and it kind of smells like a moldy basement. So I'm guessing this is not an active church. They don't use it anymore. Some of the military stones here. So Royal Canadian Air Force. Canadian Air Force, Royal Canadian. All four of these are Royal Canadian Air Force. They all died in 1942. They all actually died the same day. So they must have been killed in some particular battle. To say it was strange to see Canadian graves here, but I forget that Canada still is technically part of the monarchy. So forget 1942, they were definitely considered part of the monarchy. So it shows you how bad Americans are at history. I've seen it actually has his birthday and the date he passed away. Oh wow, he was only 22 years old when he passed away. Looking at the placard out here, there's nothing about the church itself, so I don't know the date it was erected or anything. So maybe I can find it online. Right here, this has a thatch roof on it. It's like something out of a fairy tale. So is the Swan, I believe this. Yeah, it was an old inn. Not sure if it's still used. About these pheasants, they just pop up in the middle of nowhere, so if you want to try to get pictures or film it, you got to be quick. So maybe I can see another one coming in the distance so I have time to prepare. Clear about how narrow the roads are here. So this line's in the middle, so you got to come all the way over to the left side of the road, so that doesn't give you much room, especially if there's a bigger car coming. So I'm sure I'll pass the car and I'll try to get it on film, see how close they are, especially like I said earlier, if you're not used to driving on the left side of the road. It's pretty nerve-wracking. Some video of the English countryside. This actually this reminds me a lot of where I'm from back in the States. A lot of land out there. There you go. See, not much room. Doesn't. military truck here. After my meetings, heading back, thought I'd show you this as I go by. At this point, you're probably expecting me to tell you what kind of aircraft that is and everything it does. Yeah, I have no idea. Looks like it's probably pretty fast at one time though. Up on this little place here on the right, it's called the Stuckley. This area right here, you see by a sign called Great Stuckley. The Stuckley Country Hotel. This always also been known as a pink pub. Why? Because 2 years ago it was pink. Now it's white. So pink pub has changed. But I think I'm gonna pop in here and see if the beer still tastes good. Some people don't like British pub food. I love British pub food, like bangers and mash, fish and chips, shepherd's pie, these type things. This little place here is a pretty good little place for pub food. I want to ask you guys about this. I see these all along the highway and in people's yards and things like this. These silhouettes of soldiers, and I know what the poppy means in remembrance, but if there's anybody from the UK watching, can you let me know what's specifically, what do the silhouettes mean? Is it just a memorial? Memory of veterans who died, or is there something specific about that silhouette? Because I see them in people's yards, I see them on the side of the roads, and I'd never seen them before. So, here's another one here by the front of the hotel here. All right, let's go back and film in here. So, here's a little local pub, Stuckley's, or the pink pub we just talked about. They have the Dunbar Cascale, the amber, which is a pretty good one. It's what I'm drinking right now. And you saw me just pass the Air Force Base back there, so obviously it's so close. A lot of the people from the Air Force Base come here. You see a lot of the patches and insignias here. So that's a American Air Force Base, but I do see a lot of here's some British Air Force stickers and patches here. Then I'm also seeing, like, from the U.S., some police, Capitol Police, Illinois State Police, some Army, U.S. Army, and so the TR-1 RAF Alconbury is the base we just passed. I'm not familiar with that aircraft. And I saw a sticker when I was wandering around just a little bit ago. It was here it is, the British Royal Air Force Acrobatics Team. That's pretty cool. So like I said, it's a pretty good little place to get, your pub food. They do have a evening special each day of the week. You have to come in and see what they have. In the winter, they do make fireplace here. Makes it nice and cozy in here. And Stuckley's is also like a guest house, a hotel. So you can book a room here, stay upstairs in the hotel. Nice little place located right off the main road. So if you're in the area, stop in Stuckley's for a pint, for dinner, spend the night. Okay, it's my last night here in Huntingdon before I head back to Ukraine tomorrow. I'll go ahead and wrap this video up. Went out last night in Cambridge, but I forgot to take my camera. But no worries, plan on being back here next month for a little bit of more of an extended period. So I plan on using some of that time to actually go down into Cambridge, film around, walk around the city a little bit. And hopefully the weather's a little warmer in a couple weeks. So, all right, as always guys, thanks for watching. See you soon, and goodbye from Huntington, England.